Good afternoon, I'm Sean Yao, and this is One News Now. The Social Welfare Department has laid out some guidelines for the food stamp program, which seeks to help out over 1 million poor Filipino families. Maricel Halili with the details.
The Social Welfare Department is targeting to start the pilot implementation of Walang Gutom 2027 food stamp program by July this year. The program aims to address the increasing number of Filipino families experiencing involuntary hunger. According to an SWS survey last March, almost 3 million Filipino families experienced hunger due to poverty. Secretary Rex Gatchalian said 1 million families included in the listahan and 3 will be the beneficiaries of the program. These families belong to the food poor category, which means that they only earn up to 8,000 pesos a month.
Gagawin natin dito, we will supplement the family's intake so that they mawala yung feeling of hunger. Thereby, makahanap siya ng trabaho and thereby they become part of the workforce of the country.
The pilot implementation will only include 3,000 families from Metro Manila, Mimaropa, Caraga, Barm, and Northern Luzon. These are the areas identified as urban and rural poor, conflicted, isolated, and calamity-stricken. The Asian Development Bank has already assured the government of almost $3 million financial loan for the pilot. For its part, the DSWD will distribute digital cards to the beneficiaries. Each card will be loaded 3,000 pesos of food credits per month. They can only use the cards in accredited partner stores and cannot be encashed.
Let's say you go to an accredited partner retailer. You get to choose lang from a selected list of food items in that food group. So kung carbs, it's either rice or whatever you may have. So hindi to tipong cash na ibibigay natin. We use food as currency.
The full implementation of the program will be in the first quarter of 2024. 11 billion pesos is needed for the first 300,000 beneficiaries, but a total of 40 billion pesos will be allotted for the whole program. For News 5, Maricel Halili, we are One News.
The Social Welfare Department and the Philippine Coast Guard are ready to provide assistance once Tropical Cyclone Mawar enters the Philippine area of responsibility. Social Welfare Secretary Rex Gatchalian says the agency is already augmenting efforts to stock up on food packs for around 30,000 to 50,000 families in the Ilocos and Cagayan Valley regions. Meanwhile, the PCG is also preparing relief packs and family supplies that will be distributed to evacuation centers. Typhoon Mawar is seen to develop into a super typhoon and enter the Philippine area of responsibility later this week.
We've already started mobilizing as early as this weekend. So the food packs will be there, and then our field officers are now tasked to work with the local government units to see to it that the local government units in those areas that may be affected know that the logistical support of the DSWD is around.
We're pausing for a quick break. One News Now will be back with more stories after that. Stay with us. Hello, Attorney Villanueva. Ay, You're still with us here on One News Now. I'm Sean Yao. 3 more suspects in the assassination of Governor Roel Digamo have recanted their testimonies. Lawyer attorney Danny Villanueva said that his clients have already executed their affidavits of recantation. Attorney Villanueva also represents Judiel Rivero, who was the first to retract his previous statements. Rivero earlier claimed that he was tortured and threatened to name suspended Congressman Arnie Teves as the mastermind behind the Digamos Ley. Justice Secretary Boying Remulla had earlier said that he expects the suspects to walk back on their initial statements after getting private lawyers. Let's get more details on these recantations. With us now via Zoom is attorney Danny Villanueva. Attorney Danny, good afternoon and thank you for joining us. First off, what prompted three of your clients to recant their testimonies, and why did Judiel Rivera go first?
Well, actually, all the affidavits of recantation were executed at the same time at the holding cell of NBI. So Mr. Rivero and our three other clients executed simultaneously those affidavit of recantation.
All right, Attorney Dan, we already heard the reason given by Mr. Rivero on why he recanted his statements. He said that he was forced to make these under duress, or he was coerced and tortured into making these allegations against Congressman Teves. Is it the same reason behind the other three suspects who or whose recantations were made public today?
Yes, Ma'am Sean, for the same reason that they were just threatened into signing those affidavits being attributed to them. Mr. Pataguan, Mr. Antipolo, and Mr. Laura likewise executed their counter affidavit. They now wanted to tell the whole truth to the Filipino people.
All right. And what happened in the interim? Why only now did they clearly state the reasons, or why do they now make the allegations? Why not make these allegations earlier? Of course, you must have heard already Justice Secretary Boying Remulla's statements that he expected these recantations to happen after the suspects hired a private lawyer. What do you have to say about that?
Well, that is not entirely correct to say that that our clients executed these affidavits of recantation only now after they quote-unquote have hired their lawyers. Okay, because as early as April 18, 2023, we were informed already that our four clients already intended to execute affidavits of recantation. The recantation was only formalized last Friday because it was only at that time that the lawyers were given free access to the accused in the cases pending before the court. So if we will quote Secretary Remulla himself, they have expected this coming, meaning the recantation of the false affidavits, were expected already by Secretary Remulla because they knew that these are not the statements that were already intended by the affiants to be used in the cases as part of their defense in the allegations against them.
All right, Attorney Danny, what happens next after these four affidavits of recantation has been filed? Would you know whether the other suspects are also going to be issuing the same to walk back on their statements? And what are your next steps after this?
This afternoon, we came to learn also that another suspect will execute his recantation. In fact, the family of this suspect had already contacted us because the family wanted us to assist the suspect to execute his affidavit of recantation. After the execution of this affidavit of recantation, definitely we will be moving for reopening of preliminary investigation before the DOJ. In fact, we have already filed a motion for suspension of proceedings before the court, and we have also moved that the cases be remanded to the Department of Justice. Although we have given the pronouncement of the good secretary of the DOJ that they are really hell-bent on continuing the cases against our clients, despite the fact that our clients had already disowned the sworn statements being attributed to them. But we still believe that the suspects have the right to submit their countervailing evidence before the Department of Justice. And as part of the actions that we will make, we will of course pursue our motion to quash of the informations that have so far been filed before the courts, because we of the humble opinion that our clients have been illegally arrested.
All right. Very quickly, Attorney Danny, can you talk us through the timelines? We know sometimes you're given 10, 15, or 20 days to file counter motion. Can you tell us when we can expect the next developments in these cases?
We are expecting the court within this week, meaning up to maybe up to Friday. We are expecting the RTC Manila to act on our motion to suspend proceedings and to remand the cases to the Department of Justice, as well as for the court to resolve our motion to quash before May 31, because May 31 is the scheduled arraignment and the pre-trial conference in the 25 cases that had been so far been filed before the court of RTC Manila.
All right. Thank you so much for your time and for talking us through the legalities. That was Attorney Danny Villanueva, legal counsel of some of the suspects in the Degamo killing. Thanks, Attorney. And the Philippine National Police has denied allegations of torture and coercion made by one of the suspects against them in the killing of Negros Oriental Governor Roel Degamo. According to PNP-PIO Chief Frederico Maranan, the allegations made by suspect Judiel Rivero that he was tortured while in police custody are baseless. Rivero also claimed that his family was threatened unless he confessed to the role he played in the killing. Despite this, the PNP said it will still investigate the incident and determine whether there have been any human rights violations.
Base sa mga sinasabi ng mga nag-imbestiga, wala pa naman tayong nakikitang evidence leading to that accusation. Pagka meron talagang ebidensya na nagsasabi na yung mga pulis natin ay nai-involve dyan, gaya nga ng sinabi ko, may batas na umiiral dyan, yung Republic Act 9745. So gagawin ng PNP ang nararapat niyang gawin base doon sa umiiral na batas.
One News Now will be back with the latest stories at 6:30 p.m. I'm Sean Yao. We are One News.